Okay then, hello there. Here's another one for you. Pundits. How do you like your pundits? Do you like them to have an opinion? Do you not? Do you like them to sit on the fence? Do you not? I'm sure we all prefer an opinion. I'm sure we don't like fence sitting. Just a quick question. It's a very, very short one, this one. A couple of things I've heard on the radio in the last couple of weeks that have made my ears stick up, and I wonder how you feel yourselves. It started about 3-4 weeks ago now, and I heard Martin Keown on the radio there. It may have been after the United-Liverpool game when United got beat 7-0. It may not have been. But it was on the back of someone performing really, really badly. And it was the start of the show, the Jim White, Sam and Jordan show. And Jim White said, well, Martin, what do you think of this and of that? And Martin said a little bit and had a bit of an opinion. And then he said, well, that's not quite what you said before the show, Martin. You was pretty critical of... He didn't mention players, but I think he said certain players. What about... Can you not flesh that out a little bit more? And he said, Jim, what we talked about before the show was private, and I don't like to, have a real pop at certain players on this show. Which surprised me, because he didn't mind having a pop at Rude a good few years ago. He went backwards and coming forwards there. And I thought that's what he was paid to do. Now, on the opposite side of things, and I know he's been ill lately, I hope he is getting better, I hope he picks up soon. It was Carlton Palmer was on the radio about a week ago. And again, I think it wasn't United this time, it was England, but there was a United link there. I think England had just won 2-0. I didn't see the game. I tend to only watch England when they're finals, not a final, but at finals when they get to the Euros or World Cup or whatever it may be. I tend to not like friendlies and tend not to watch them. But it was the night I think they won 2-0. I think Luke Shaw had got sent off early on. And they said to Carlton, what did you think of England? Blah, 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 blah. And I think they mentioned, they did really well after having the man sent off. And he said, well, let's just go to Luke Shaw straight away, Carlton said. He said, I just don't get it. He said, I don't get why Luke Shaw is even in the team. He said, for me, he's not a good enough defender. He's not a good enough fullback. We've got better fullbacks than him. And he mentioned Trent, Alexander-Arnold. He said, he might not, he gets knocked for his defence. It might not be quite as good as Shaw's, but he's not a million miles behind him. But delivery-wise and up front and as an attacking force, he's so far superior, it's untrue. He said, and there's others there as well. And it knocked Jim White back a little bit because he didn't expect him to go on a rant about one player when he was asking about the overall team. But he feels strongly about Luke Shaw. I have the same thoughts about another one of Man United's fullbacks, and that will definitely get ahead in the next week or so. But all I seem to have been doing of late is, well, I've only just started the channel, and it's been a few digs at Man United, so I don't want to go too deep into things. But it was strange because you went from Martin Keown not wanting to say anything, wanting what had been said behind closed doors, kept behind closed doors. Yet Carlton Palmer voicing an opinion straight away, and that's the kind of punch I really like. And I must say, I think it was last year or maybe the year previous, for a 6-month period, Luke Shaw had a great time and was looking like he was really coming on again. And these times I like Luke Shaw, but these times I really, really don't. I said in an earlier video, the delivery from the flanks for Man United has been awful for a year or two. You're seeing the number of goals they got from corners. I think it was under Ollie. I think we got something like 1 goal in about 35 or 40 games from a corner. I thought they'd be like London buses. I thought, well, once one comes round, we'll get 1 a year from there, but I don't think we're even getting 1 a year at the moment. So that just tells you that we're not putting balls on people's heads, which is crazy. But I've always thought Luke Shaw's delivery was really, really poor. It can be good. He can play well with Rashford. He can put a ball behind the defender and set him off well. He's good at that. Often his delivery from out wide is poor. It tends to... Most of Luke Shaw's crosses tend to hit the guy that's in front of him, the defender, that's 3 or 4 yards away. He seems to regularly hit his leg. Why, I don't know, but he does. Actually playing Rashford upfield and putting balls behind it, he's good at that. He does well with that. And his defence sometimes is good. But now and again he falls asleep, and sometimes it's not. At the weekend against Newcastle, A weekend that they're looking at offering him a big contract, which I believe he signed only today, which is Tuesday today, the 4th. I thought he had an absolute howler. He had a shocker. I would say he was the worst player on the pitch. I mean, there was a lot of bad players for Man United on the pitch, but I would say he was the worst for the first 20 minutes, 25 minutes. They had fun and games up that end, and Shaw didn't know where he was, didn't know whether he was coming or going. I felt sorry for Martinez because Martinez was trying to cover for him, and it was just horrendous. But I was really, really not so much in agreement with Carlton Palmer, and not so much pleased that he was calling one of my players. It was just the fact that he had an opinion, and I love an opinion. And again, I listened to a little bit of TalkSport yesterday, and they were talking about the managerial casualties, Rodgers and Potter. And then Simon Jordan went on to talk about Tuchel. And he was talking about, well, I think I think it was Keown was in with him again yesterday, Keown and Jim White, and they were saying, well, they shouldn't have let Tuchel go. Why did they let Tuchel go? I'm surprised they let Tuchel go. Was Potter the man for the job? And Simon Jordan saying, well, yeah, but with some of the things that we've heard that have happened in the background with Tuchel that that the rest of the country isn't privy to, it's hardly surprising he went, and he's hinting at things that he knows that we don't know. Now, you listen to Jim White and Simon Jordan as the sun shining out of his backside, as does Sir Rod Stewart. And Simon Jordan is great. I've got no qualms with Simon Jordan. I think he's really good at what he does. But the great thing with Simon Jordan is he doesn't mind ruffling a few feathers. He doesn't mind saying as it is, which I like. That's what I'm doing on this channel. I don't always agree with him. And sometimes I think he does do it for effect, although I'm sure he won't agree with that. But most of the time he doesn't. He stands by what he says, which is good. I thought, with him knowing things about Tuchel that we don't, I thought his job sat next to Jim White there as being the main co-presenter almost, or the Jim White's foil. I thought that would be his job to tell us what he knows about Tuchel. I mean, it would be nice to know that. If I'm a Chelsea fan and Tuchel's gone after winning us the Champions League, and I'd want to know why he's gone. I'd want to know these inside stories. And all right, I get that if Simon makes these public, then it might stop him getting information further down the line from other clubs and other managers and other players. I get that, but if he knows something, I mean, I want my pundits telling us things. I want them keep us abreast of what's going on and have an opinion. Simon John does have an opinion, which I like, but if he knows stuff about these clubs and stuff, let us know. Let us know. But really what this video is down to, and it's only a short one, it's about pundits and what you like, so comments please below. But I love Carlton Palmer for his honesty. I thought that was really, really good. Whereas Martin Keown said things and didn't want them in the public domain, didn't want to speak about them on air, Carlton Palmer spoke about things that Jim White and Sam Jordan wasn't expecting. He was asked a question about England and how well he thought they performed winning 2-0 with a man sent off, and he went into a rant about a player that he thinks deserving of a shirt, and whether you agree with that or not, he had an opinion, and I love that. So that's it. Video over. What do you think? Comments please below.